Most people wake up every day with a quiet accusation running in their mind. You should be doing more. You should be stronger. You should be disciplined by now. So when focus disappears, when motivation fades, when the mind feels heavy and slow, they assume something is wrong with them. But here is the darker truth most people never hear. What if your mind isn't failing? What if it's overloaded? And what if the people you admire for their calm, precision, and control aren't superior in any way? They're simply protecting something you were never taught to defend. Their attention. Performance has been framed the wrong way for generations. We were taught that performance is physical. More effort, more hours, more discipline. Push harder, wake earlier, sleep less, endure more. And in darker psychological spaces, especially around masculinity, performance becomes something even more dangerous. Dominance, control, outlasting everyone else at any cost. But this idea quietly destroys people, because real performance has never started in the body. It starts in the mind. Before endurance exists, there is mental structure. Before consistency exists, there is internal order. Before control over outcomes exists, there is control over attention. Every individual who performs at a high level for long periods of time learns this lesson early, whether consciously or not. The body follows the mind. It always has. It always will. Dark psychology is not just about manipulation or control over others. It is about understanding pressure, overload, and the invisible forces that shape behavior beneath the surface. Tonight, we are exposing a truth that explains something many people quietly struggle with. Burnout that doesn't make sense. Mental fog that won't lift. Exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. I've observed this pattern repeatedly. People don't collapse because they are weak. They collapse because their internal system is saturated. Mental performance is rarely destroyed by a lack of discipline. It is destroyed by overload. Too many thoughts competing at once. Too many stimuli pulling attention in opposite directions. Too many emotional inputs absorbed without permission. Some of these inputs come from screens. Some come from expectations. Some come from other people's anxiety, urgency, and chaos. At first, the damage is subtle. Focus shortens. Decisions feel heavier than they should. The mind resists starting things it once handled easily. And then comes the misinterpretation. You label this state as laziness. You call it procrastination. You assume something inside you is broken. So you try to fix it the only way you were taught. By pushing harder. You add pressure. You add stimulation. You add more goals, more plans, more rules. But pressure applied to a saturated system does not create strength. It creates collapse. This is the paradox almost no one understands. You don't always become stronger by adding more. Very often, you become stronger by removing what is draining you. Mental performance does not respond to force. It responds to clarity. When noise is reduced, the mind sharpens naturally. When unnecessary inputs are removed, energy returns without motivation. When you stop carrying what isn't yours, strength appears quietly. This is why truly mentally powerful people often look calm, detached, selective. They are not avoiding life. They are defending their capacity. Dark psychology understands a rule most people never notice. A distracted mind is a controllable mind. When attention is fragmented, decision-making weakens. When decision-making weakens, reliance on external guidance increases. When reliance increases, autonomy fades. Mental overload does more than exhaust you. It lowers resistance. Think of the mind as a processor, not infinite, not limitless. Every notification consumes bandwidth. Every unresolved emotional interaction drains capacity. Every piece of chaos you allow inside competes for control. When bandwidth is full, clarity dies. And when clarity dies, even simple actions feel heavy. This is why calm people appear powerful. Not because they think more, but because they think less and deeper. They don't react to everything. They don't respond to every signal. They choose what deserves entry. This isn't avoidance. It's sovereignty. Another uncomfortable truth must be faced here. Not all exhaustion originates inside you. Much of it is absorbed. You carry expectations that were never meant to be yours. Urgency that doesn't belong to your life. Emotional states that leak into your system because boundaries were never taught. This is emotional contamination. When boundaries are weak, states transfer. Stress moves silently. Anxiety spreads without words. And absorbed states become internal conditions. This is why motivation techniques fail so often. You cannot motivate a flooded system. You drain it first. Mental performance is not about domination. It is about control of attention. And attention cannot survive in chaos. The mind does not thrive on intensity. It thrives on order. Here is something rarely discussed. Many people fear silence, not because silence is empty, but because silence reveals how overloaded they've become. When noise disappears, the system finally speaks. Fatigue surfaces. Irritation rises. Mental clutter becomes visible. So people reintroduce noise. Music, scrolling, drama, endless stimulation. But silence is not emptiness. Silence is recovery. High performers understand this intuitively. They schedule stillness the same way others schedule effort, because they know something fundamental. Clarity does not arrive through effort. It arrives when interference is removed. Now let's turn awareness into protection. First, audit your inputs. Not just information emotion, not just content urgency. Ask yourself, what enters my mind daily that does not serve clarity? If it drains you without strengthening you, it is a liability. Second, reduce before you add. Before new goals. Before new habits. Before more discipline. Remove unnecessary stimulation. Shorten exposure. Create mental boundaries. Third, protect silence. Silence is not inactivity. It is maintenance. Moments without input restore processing power. Fourth, release borrowed weight. Not every problem deserves residence. Not every emotion deserves permanence. This is not selfishness. This is mental survival. So ask yourself this honestly. Are you truly unmotivated? Or are you overloaded? What would change if you stopped forcing progress and started protecting capacity? Because clarity is not built through pressure. It appears when chaos leaves. If this message resonated, if you felt that quiet mental weight, share your experience in the comments. Dark Psychology Chronicles is not about fear. It is about awareness. And awareness is the first form of power.